Field game.
Yeah.
Then do the brackets. Then we'll talk about Page. Did you get everything I sent you?
Yeah. I got it in here. Yeah. Stats. Yeah, I got my notes on them. High ride route.
I looked at these two schedules. Nolensville played and beat one team with a winning record. Tullahoma played and beat one team with a winning record. The combined record of Nolensville's opponents that they beat, 28 and 57. Tullahoma 24 and 58 or something like that. Very close. People talking about this Region 6 being so great and maybe sweeping Region 5. I don't see it. They have weak non-conference schedule. I'll take the Wildcats at home. Tullahoma 1st and 10 at the Nolensville 42-yard line. Bratcher hands it off Marvancy. Marvancy's got a lane, 30, 25, 20. They'll never catch him. Touchdown, Tullahoma.
Kaboom.
Marvancy Johnson from 42 yards away.
No flags.
Sometimes it's not how far you run it, it's how many times you run it. And Tullahoma ran it one time for goal. 42 yards for Marvancy
Well,
Johnson.
we finally get that big play. Marvancy Johnson just rips off the big run, his biggest run of his career right there.
And Sylvester will throw it on 4th down. Sylvester's pass complete to Tomaska. Tomaska's dropped, and this ball game is
Johnson
over. Wrap this one in Cardinal and black. The Tullahoma Wildcats advance in the TSSAA playoffs. Tullahoma wins its first round game, beating Nolensville 10-0. What about them Wildcats? Woo! Welcome to Gold Ball Sports, Season 2, Episode 13. Dave Myers and Ken Keller. I'm Scott Chastain. Before you get into the program, just hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Just hit that subscribe. We're trying to get to 100. When we get to 100 subscribers, we're going to give that 100th subscriber a special prize. So keep subscribing. Maybe you'll be the 100th. And you'll get that special prize. Welcome in. Got a lot of football to talk about tonight. A little bit of other things to talk about tonight. But we get started with Tullahoma's 10-0 win over the Nolensville Knights Friday night at Wilkins Stadium. The Wildcats advance to the second round of the TSSAA playoffs. Defense, special teams, and a little Marvancy, Ken. That's all the Wildcats needed.
I mean, the perfect ingredients for a Tullahoma win, and they exacted revenge on Nolensville from that 2020 round 3, 15-14 loss. They come up with 10 fourth quarter points and shut out the Knights 10-0.
Watch that game again last night. I tell you who was a defensive star that did not get mentioned near enough. That was one Ethan Hargrove. I kept missing him calling his name, making tackles, because he was the first guy there and he was underneath. But in watching the replay, play after play, number 9 coming in there making tackles. Tullahoma's defense was just stout.
Yeah, stellar. Tucker, Myers, Hyden, Hargrove, and Gang and company. Look, you get a first-round playoff shutout. I mean, the confidence of the defense is so high right now, and it needs to be as we head into round 2.
And then Grant Chadwick, just maybe his best all-around punting game. Yeah, he missed a 57-yard field goal attempt by about that far. Is about that much short. Give him another yard, and that kick would have been good. But those punts were just booming and just kept setting Nolensville back. Just kept putting them back.
Oh yeah, I mean it was a game of attrition, a game of field position. The first 3 quarters 0-0. Grant Chadwick may have been the MVP the first 3 quarters with his punts flipping field position.
So All your talk about a Region 6 sweep and all that, forget that. Region 6 showed itself to be just fine. Thank you very much. All right, let's go to the brackets. Take a look at where we are heading into week 2 of the Tennessee high school football playoffs. We begin with Division II, the private schools, Single A, the smallest private schools in the state. There were no surprises here. A number of teams had byes. Now you get into some stiff competition here with Columbia Academy and Trinity Christian leading the way for potential state championship. I still like Middle Tennessee Christian School to come out of the east side of the state and compete for a state championship. Trinity Christian looks good. Friendship Christian looks good. They'll probably battle it out here. State championship for Single A is November 30th. That's Friday afternoon at 3 o'clock in Chattanooga. Yeah, they'll play their second round and then their third round, and then they'll be done, because that's all the schools there is. They'll be done in a couple of weeks in Single A. You'll have your 2 state championship teams, which will be Middle Tennessee Christian and Trinity Christian. Double A in Division II, a little bit larger private schools. Again, upsets hard to come by in the playoffs. I told you that last week. You look at who advanced. They were all pretty much your higher seeds. So I still like Boyd Buchanan a lot, coached by Gary Rankin, the winningest coach in the history of Tennessee high school football. Really like Boyd Buchanan to advance on out of here, get to the state championship. Over here, it's hard not to like CPA. They've been really strong all year. Knoxville Webb could put up some competition here, but CPA, Boyd Buchanan to meet Friday morning, 11 o'clock in Chattanooga for the Division II Class AA bracket. I think all my picks won from last week. Let's go to Class 3A in Division II. The big boys, again, not much in the way of upsets. A number of teams had byes. Brentwood Academy, maybe that's an upset. I don't know, really. Down here, Knoxville Catholic beating Father Ryan. That's never an upset when Catholic wins. Do like McCallie to beat Brentwood Academy here this week. I'm going to go Ensworth beats NBA here this week. Brentwood Academy and Ensworth in the semifinals. Over here, I like Baylor coming out of Chattanooga to beat Christian Brothers, and Knoxville Catholic to upset MUS. That's the only upset I'll call. Catholic and CBU, Catholic and Baylor play here. I like Baylor and McCallie. It's happened before. It's going to happen again. Baylor and McCallie playing for state championship in Class 3A in Division II. All right, now we move to the teams that we know a little better. Single A playoff bracket. State championship will be Saturday at 3 p.m. Now, I want to point you to all these public school brackets, and I want you to notice how it shows a verse right here. Just got to overlook that, okay? We know that's not what happened. And what happens is this winner and this winner play here. This winner and this winner play here. And then the 2 winners go to the state championship. So just a little Bible for us. It's just a room thing. We'll keep you abreast of that all the way through. So round 2, big upset right in the far east corner of the state. In round 1, a big upset. Greenback beats Cloudland. If you know the regions, you know that's not that big of an upset. I told you, the Far East region, Region 1 in the state of Tennessee, in all classifications, is weak. They're just weak, except for one. There's one Region 1 that's really good, but in most of them, they're weak. That's how you see a 4-seed Greenback beat a 1-seed Cloudland. Is it an upset on paper? Yes. Is it an upset? Really? No. Greenback advances, Oliver Springs, Rockwood, and Coalfield. That's your East region. Still like Coalfield to come out of there. They're going to play at home this week. And then when you get here, remember, it's the top seed that plays at home. So Coalfield would have to go on the road, but I like Coalfield still to come out of here. In the, what we call the Mid-East bracket. The Mid-East bracket of Tennessee. South Pittsburgh looking good. Clay County advanced. Whitwell, Gordonsville, no upsets there. South Pittsburgh will come out of there, play Gordonsville. Coalfield, South Pittsburgh will continue to work their way and play for the state championship, which is Saturday, 3 p.m. at Finley Stadium in Chattanooga. In what we'll call the Midwest bracket, little bit of surprise, Eagleville beat West Carroll. I honestly didn't really see that coming. Little bit of a surprise to me that Collinwood beat McEwen. I'm not sure I saw that coming, but you see 3 teams out of our Region 5 1A advance. So Region 6 kind of weak, but McKenzie is a very strong winner in Region 6. So it's still going to be Moore County and McKenzie here. I do like Moore County to get that this year. And then here's Dresden, undefeated. They advance. Memphis Middle College. I told you to watch Union City. Union City comes out. I'm going to take Union City right here to upset Mace, which is Memphis Arts and Sciences something. They're a number 1 seed in Region 8. But I like Union City now to come out of here. Now that they've got past Westwood, I like them to come out of here and play Dresden, Moore County, and McKenzie. I like Moore County and Dresden to play for a trip to Chattanooga. South Pittsburgh and Moore County, I'm going to go with it as long as I can. Ken Keller and I may very well make the drive to Chattanooga on December 1st. If I can get him away from the SEC championship game at 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock our time at Finley Stadium, Moore County, South Pittsburgh, that will be so fun for my kinfolk down in Lynchburg. Go Dawson White. All right, let's go to 2A. Very little upsets here. We did get Oneida beating Happy Valley at home. That is definitely an upset. But Hampton, Bledsoe County, York advance here in the Upper East bracket. Boy, I like York Institute a lot to move on out here. In the Mid-East bracket, you see Smith County, the number 1 seed, advanced. Fayetteville advanced, beat Monterey. East Robertson, Cascade, Marion County. I just got something about this Fayetteville team. I think they're going to go to Smith County. Where is that? I don't know. It's in Smith County. But I don't know what city that is, to be honest with you. I like Fayetteville to beat Smith County. They won't beat Marion County. York Institute, Marion County, playing for the state championship. December 2nd, that'll be Saturday at 3 p.m. at Finley Stadium. In the Midwest bracket, a huge upset. Undefeated Loretto goes down in the opening round to Trenton Peabody. Riverside comes out, Milan comes out, Huntington comes out. That shows you what that Loretto region was like. At Region 5, they did not win a game. So Region 6 shuts out Region 5. I got to go with Huntington still to advance here. On the lower bracket, it's Mitchell and more Mitchell. They just keep winning. I like them to come out here. Mitchell and, Mitchell and Huntington to play. Mitchell and Marion County still on board those 2 trains for the state championship Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock at Finley Stadium. Class 3A. Gatlinburg-Pittman, yeah, they won 70-0, so they advanced. You didn't get really any upsets here. What you saw was the dominance of Region 1 in these 3 schools, and then Alcoa, of course, coming out of Region 2. we can go through all this a lot. I was really surprised that Sequatchie County beat defending state champion Tyner and put them out in the first round. I was shocked about that. I don't think they'll beat Meigs County. I do like Giles County coming out of here still. Meigs County, Giles County, Alcoa, Gatlinburg, Pittman. Alcoa comes out of the east side of the state of Tennessee. The Midwest region, East Nashville, pretty dominant there. I don't think anybody can touch them here. The same thing with Dyersburg. I don't think anybody can touch them. Westview, a 3 seed, advances out of here. But Covington and Dyersburg, with Dyersburg coming out here, East Nashville coming out. I don't know. East Nashville's looking really good, but I got to stick with what I picked, and that's Dyersburg and Alcoa to play for the state championship. That is Friday morning, 11 o'clock, Finley Stadium, Chattown. Saturday morning. No, this is Saturday, the 2nd. That one was Friday morning. Class 4A. This is where East Tennessee is the strongest in Class 4A. That Region 1 has Greenville and Elizabethton. You just don't get any stronger than that in a single region. Defending state champion Anderson County comes out of here. I like Elizabethton to eliminate them. Greenville, Elizabethton out here. No upsets here. The upset, if you want to call it that, was Stone Memorial winning. Otherwise, Region 4 wins 3 out of 4 here. Upperman, they're the strong team here. I like Macon County, Upperman to advance. I don't even remember who I picked. I'm going Greenville this year because they're at home all the way. So Greenville and Upperman, I like Upperman to go to Greenville and beat them. The Midwest side of the state, Pearl Cone looks really strong. Marshall County and Pearl Cone both won. Hardin County won. This will be a really good game. If you could go see a game this Friday night somewhere else, that'd be a good one to see. I like Marshall County and Pearl Cone to come out of here. I like Millington and Haywood. I don't know. You know, I like Millington, but man, we know what Haywood can do. I'm going to stick with Millington coming out of the West and playing Pearl Cone. Pearl Cone's going to win that. Greenville and Pearl Cone for the Class 4A state championship. That'll be Saturday, 11 o'clock at Finley Stadium. Class 5A. Look how pretty that is. Just look how pretty that is. Where you seen a prettier bracket than that right there? Okay. So all your expected teams won here. This is Knoxville West. They're the defending state champion. They're going to come out of this bracket. In the Mideast part of the state, no surprises. I don't like these teams down here much. I do like Oak Ridge and I do like Walker Valley. They're both at home. They'll advance out of here. Oak Ridge and Knoxville West playing in the semifinals. Knoxville West going to Chattanooga. Here we are in our bracket, Region 5, 5A. Too many people talked about a sweep. Shelbyville didn't just beat Hillsborough, they beat the holy hell out of them. Just demolished them. Shelbyville advances. Centennial, they had a pretty rough time with Columbia. I thought Columbia showed itself very well, but Centennial advanced. Tullahoma gets by Nolensville. Page routed Franklin County. Tullahoma goes to Page. Centennial goes to Shelbyville. Let's pause it right there. And partner, let's talk a little bit about Tullahoma and Page. Page has been to the state championship game 2 years in a row. They've lost it both years. You know how hungry they've got to be. That atmosphere up in Page, up in Franklin Friday night is going to be crazy. We'll be there. We'll be on LightTube Sports Network. You can watch it here in Tullahoma on Channel 23. You can listen to the broadcast on YouTube, LightTube YouTube. You can hear the broadcast. And if you're inside the stadium, you can hear it on 87.9 FM. Let's start up here. Centennial didn't show me enough. Shelbyville just keeps showing me enough. I like Shelbyville to beat Centennial. And now Tullahoma goes to Page. Crazy atmosphere up there. They got flashing lights. They got car horns sounding. They got the cowbells. It's a crazy atmosphere at Page. They've got artificial turf, so it's a little bit like going to Nolensville. They've got construction going on all around that stadium, and we're told by the Page people that, you know, you might as well not even come because the bleachers are so dirty there's no place to sit.
Yeah, I mean, what a tactic there. So no doubt, I mean, you've explained a raucous playoff environment for Tullahoma, you know, but they really certainly got to be concerned about a Tennessee Titan, Mr. Football semifinalist, Eric Hazard, number 40. That's the guy to watch out for defensively for the Patriots. This guy's 6'2", 230 pounds, and has 11 sacks on the season, 36 solo tackles. We got to find a way to block him. And conversely, offensively, you know, it took us to the fourth quarter to get the offense going, Scott, last week. We got to get that offense going early on the road in this game to have a chance.
Tullahoma's offense does not revert to its midseason form. The Wildcats are not going to win this game. As good as our defense is, and I love it, and as good as our special teams is, that's not going to beat Page. They're going to score some points. It might be a pick six. It might be a kickoff return. They got all kind of guys. They got a big running back, Cunningham, big sophomore, that he's going to be a load. Their quarterback doesn't, I was not that impressed with his numbers. He's got 11 touchdowns and 5 interceptions, so he can be picked. But we just got to have offense. Offense has got to produce some points. I don't know, let's go back to the board right now, Ken. I got to go with Page and Shelbyville out here. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. Page, the heavy favorites. You know, it's David against Goliath. Let's see if Tullahoma can do it again.
Henry County, Hendersonville, Beach, and Southwind advance. I talk about these teams that just always seem to do well in the playoffs, and Beach is one of those. I don't know what this 11-0 Southwind team is about in Memphis. They're going to have to show me. Otherwise, I like Beach and Henry County. They've done it a bunch of times to get in this third round. I tell you what, we're getting to the point where Page is going to start running out of competition here. They're just, I believe, that good. I like Page and Knoxville West to get here. I like Knoxville West to repeat as state champion, although if they get here, if Page and Knoxville West square off again for state championship, you got to think, if you're ever going to do it, you got to do it, right? But December 1st, that's Friday, 7 o'clock, Finley Stadium. We'll be watching Knoxville West and Page play football. I hope we're there. Make no mistake about it. I hope we're there. We'll go up on the roof again at night. That should be an experience. Yeah. All right, Class 6A, the big boys. Don't see too many upsets here. You could call a 3-seed Maryville beating a 2-seed Science Hill an upset if you wanted to. However, if you check the last 25 years, you'll see that probably happened about 20 of those years. Maryville beating Science Hill in the playoffs. Bradley Central's the team to beat. They got a Mr. Football nominee in Boo Carter. I like Bearden to beat Jefferson County, to go to Jefferson County and beat them, because I think Region 2 is better than Region 1. So Bearden, Bradley Central coming out of here. Riverdale and Cookeville. Cookeville's had a really strong year. It's a good comeback year for Cookeville. Unfortunately, it will end at Riverdale. Oakland and Riverdale to come out and play. Oakland to win it. Bradley Central to win it. Bradley Central to upset Oakland, come out here and play for a state championship. In the Midwest quadrant, I was surprised number 1 Smyrna beat 4-seed Independence. I'll admit, I was surprised. I expected Independence to win that game because that Region 6 is so strong with Ravenwood, Summit, and Brentwood. But Smyrna won Ravenwood, Summit, and Brentwood. So I like Brentwood, Ravenwood, Brentwood to advance right there. On the west side of the state, it's hard to bet against this Germantown team. They've had a great year. The farther it goes, the more I like them. I think Germantown comes out here, plays Brentwood. Brentwood advances. Bradley Central advances. I like Bradley Central to win the Class 6A state championship December 2nd, Saturday, 7 o'clock, Finley Stadium. That'll be a fun game to watch. So that is a review of your high school football brackets. And again, we'll be at Page High School Friday night, 7 o'clock for the kickoff. All right, let's hand out some participation trophies.
Gold Ball Sports, where participation trophies simply don't cut it.
All right, participation trophies weekly go to those who just don't quite meet our expectations. You know, they tried. Look, this says you tried, and we appreciate your efforts, but they show the folks my participation trophy winner. That young man right there, Caleb Williams. Do we have the video on him? Oh, yeah. Caleb lost again. So Caleb went over to Mama and he cried. Now you might think he's just talking to Mama, but you see, look at his stomach. Watch his stomach. All right, and his leg. You see that twitch? Caleb's bawling. Look, this is the guy who wrote FUCKUTAH on his knuckles last year when Southern Cal played Utah. I think he's classless, and I think he thoroughly deserves the participation trophy. A month ago, he's being talked about as the greatest college quarterback in history. I don't even think he should go in the first round. This episode shows me all I need to see. I don't want him on my team going crying to Mama because he lost. Caleb Williams, participation trophy.
Well deserved, Scott. So my participation trophy tonight goes to a linebacker for the Texas A&M Aggies. No, not to head coach Jimbo Fisher, but to linebacker Shamar Turner. Ladies and gentlemen, there are low blows, and then there are low blows. Check out this video. Dave, cue
Why
it up.
Shamar Turner was ejected, Jordan.
Oh, look, Micah Pettis has been finishing blocks like this all game, and watch Turner get up with the frustration of this. Oh, right there. And another one.
Folks, that was a better that was a better uppercut than Rocky Marciano. Congratulations, Shamar Turner. You're the bonehead of the week. You get my participation trophy.
Nice. You actually brought something in I hadn't seen, so I appreciate that. All right, let's talk some college football, pigs, Ken.
Oh, let's do. All right, let's go to the SEC fanfare. Dr. Pepper zone. It's time to pop this Dr. Pepper up and get rolling on this.
By the way, all of our music that we use is produced, arranged, and performed by our own Dave Myers. All right? All our music. As you go through the whole show, think about that. A lot of music. Proceed, my man.
All right, we're going to start off with a recap real quick of the SEC action this week. Fun Saturday. My grandson played a little bit of football, but sandwiched between the morning and the afternoon and night, I was watching all SEC football mostly. Ole Miss, the Lane Train, big win for Ole Miss. They still just have one loss. That one to Alabama. They were ranked number 9 in the college football poll that we'll take a look at here in just a couple minutes. Texas A&M continues their trend, Scott, of losing on the road. They lose a heartbreaker. Shamar Turner with the nut shots. They lose 38-35 to the Ole Miss Rebels. Tennessee 59, UConn 3. You dubbed this the what bowl last week?
Oh, it was the Pat Bowl.
Yeah, the Pat Bowl. Okay,
Yeah,
Pat Bowl.
We exacted a little pain on Geno.
Oh, yeah, you definitely did. And that had been storing up. So, Pigskin told you last week on Pigskin's Loser, Tennessee win by 50. They won by 56. So, that was expected. They're getting ready for a big clash against the Missouri Tigers this week at Missouri. The Florida Gators lose. They lose 39-36. Two really high-scoring games here. Very exciting ball games to watch if you like offensive points. Just a series of blunders in this game. Florida misses a field goal at the end. Arkansas wins it.
Where did this 39 points come from? I mean, these guys hadn't been able to score diddly squat.
Yeah, nothing.
Put 39 on the Gators.
Yeah, Beamer ball is alive. They come back. They get a win 38-29. They're trying to become bowl eligible, getting closer are the Gamecocks. The big CBS game, number 1. I guess it was a CBS triple header, but this was the 2:30 game. Georgia holds off Missouri 30-21. Missouri gave them a battle for a while, but Georgia wins it 30-21 to stay unbeaten. That's number 26 in a row for the Georgia Bulldogs. Auburn beats Vanderbilt 31-15. Kentucky beats Mississippi State. Poor Mississippi State. They're tanking right now. Kentucky beats them. They had been tanking. They've got to get the blue horn out for our Wildcats, get a win. Hey, show them some love. 24-3. The big game Saturday night. We're going to break that down just a little bit here in a minute when we look at the college football playoff picture. But in an unbelievable matchup of quarterbacks, this game 21-21 at the half. Jalen Milroe against Jaden Daniels. Ladies and gentlemen, I found an unbelievable stat. This was the first FBS college football game in 25 years where both of these quarterbacks threw for 200 yards and ran for 150. First time that's happened in 25 years. A rarity there. A great matchup between the quarterbacks. Alabama's defense shuts them down in the second half and gets the big win for Alabama. LSU drops loss number 3.
You going to show that targeting play?
We're going to talk about it here just in a few minutes. Okay, here we go. College football top 10. So let's look at more of a panoramic here of the national picture here. Number 1, Ohio State struggles with Rutgers a little bit. They were behind in the first half.
The Fighting Schianos.
Yeah, the Fighting Schianos. They pull it out 35-16 does the Buckeyes. And, of course, there is a committee member from Rutgers. The Rutgers AD is on the 13-person panel and said it was an impressive victory for the Ohio State Buckeyes. More on that here when we look at the college football playoff rankings from last night. Georgia number 2 Georgia. We talked about their win at Missouri. Michigan, still, I got to pull out the telestrator on this one. The Michigan Wolverines pulverize Gary Danielson's Purdue Boilermakers 41-13. They still have not played anybody. They get their first test of the season this week in Happy Valley. Florida State cruises 24-7 over Pitt. They stay unbeaten. Washington, in the game that we saw Caleb Williams cry, featured in Scott's participation trophy, USC loses once again. I'm loving it. Lincoln Riley boats from Oklahoma to USC, and they've lost 3 games this year. Loving every bit of what's happening in Southern California. And Washington still unbeaten. 6 through 10, what did they do? Oregon cruised 63-19 over the Cal Bears. Texas, we talk about, Reese Davis talks about, statement wins versus survival for Texas. They pull it out 33-20. Kansas State, a boneheaded decision by the coaches in overtime to forsake a field goal and try for the touchdown. They lose 33-30. Does K-State. Texas stays alive in the college football playoff picture. Alabama, humongous win, 42-28. Okay, I'm going to come right back to that one. Oklahoma, they lose, so they do not survive. They fall. They fall to Oklahoma State in Bedlam, 27-24. Oklahoma out of the college football playoff picture with 2 losses. They may not even get a crack against Texas in the rematch. And then we talked about Lane Kiffin's big win, 38-35 over Texas A&M. Lane Kiffin quietly with 1 loss. But I want to go back to this right here, folks, because on Gold Ball Sports, we keep receipts, right? We keep receipts here on Gold Ball Sports, and I've got a receipt for you, okay? I've got a receipt for you. I don't know if we can look at this screen and see what. Zone in on this. T-Bob A-Bear. T-Bob, we keep receipts on Gold Ball Sports. We're fixing to make you famous. Nobody knows you outside the state of Louisiana, but folks in Tennessee and all around the South are going to know you right now because you're eating crow here on Gold Ball Sports. Dave, cue it up.
You bastards. Y'all ready to get your ass kicked in T-Town tomorrow? Because I'm feeling a little hungry, and it's looking like we got some Alabama on the menu. What better way to kick off turkey season than when feasting on the flesh of a declining empire? And let's be painfully clear about that, boys. You know I'm a fan of history, right?
Yes.
Nobody ever wants to be alive during civilizational decline, right? Like being in England when suddenly the Roman Empire retreats and just a generation later, you're looking at all of these bathhouses and these statues, these temples. You're like, my God, who made these? What sort of technology did they have? These giants among men, these wizened old, like, how in the world are human beings capable of this? Well, guess what, Alabama? That's you, okay? That is you. Let's be painfully clear. You've already been cucked by Kirby. Brian Kelly beat you last year. 2 out of 4, about to be 2 in a row, and 3 out of 5. And look, and you're on the cusp of not winning a national championship in 3 years for the first time ever in the Saban era in Tuscaloosa. And look, I get it, right? The same way that progress is not always linear, right? Sometimes you take a step back to take 2 forward. Decline is not always linear. And so maybe there's a last gasp for somewhere in Alabama in there. Maybe you sneak another natty somewhere in there. But I need every one of you Tide fans listening right now. I need you to really hear me here. And I need you to understand this because this is terrifying, but it's true. And you got to accept it. Every one of you listening will die. Your heart will stop. You will be dead in the ground, heaven, hell, reincarnation, whatever the hell you believe in. I don't care. You will be dead and you will never experience what you've currently just gone through these last 20 years. Full stop. Doesn't matter. You have that awful knowledge that, like an athlete that never finds his identity when he gets done playing, you have already peaked. You will never experience the consistent greatness that you have had over the last 20, no matter what. It ain't happening. So literally anything you eat from here on out will be less than for the golden meals that you've stuffed in your fat little gut for the past 20 years, okay? So, again, decline, the downward trend. It's only going to continue. Saban's eventually retire. You're never going to hire anybody who's going to come close to sniffing him. And for the rest of your life, you're just going to look back on the 2010s as what a great time it was. If only you could get back there. But again, you never will. You'll die before you ever will. And on the other hand, LSU's on the up and up, on the come up. BK's coming for that natty. It's a process, and the process continues by beating that Alabama stanky ass in T-Town tomorrow.
T-Bob, we keep receipts on Gold Ball Sports, man. If you can't cash the check, you pay the piper on Gold Ball Sports. You get the Clown of the Week award. We don't even have that, but I just created one for you because Alabama fans heard you and they listened, and your team LSU's not going nowhere. That's 3 losses for the LSU Tigers. They're out. They're out of the SEC West. They're out of the SEC Championship.
Where you at,
Gone.
T-Bob?
Dead. Buried, T-Bob.
You're invited.
Gone.
Gold Ball Sports anytime you want, T-Bob. Come on in.
We want you to call the show next year because we're going to interview you before the Alabama game in Baton Rouge, T-Bob, because we keep receipts here. All right, let's look at the college football playoff picture, okay? So what we got here is I've got some bones to pick tonight. I had a bone with T-Bob because we keep receipts. I got a bone to pick with Boo Kerrigan, the college football playoff commissioner. Yes, Boo. Boo, there it is. Boo. All right, Boo. Tell me what you're doing on these college football playoff rankings, okay? Because I've got a different top 5 than what you have, sir. Okay, so let's look at this. Ohio State, number 1. Why? According to the committee, based on 2 top 10 team wins at the time, 1 against Penn State, 1 against Notre Dame. Well, Notre Dame's now at 20. Penn State's holding at number 10. I'll give you that. They've played a lot more difficult schedule than this one and probably this one as well. But Florida State should be number 1. I've been riding them for the last 6 weeks. Florida State's resume even better than Ohio State's. been more impressive. I like what Jordan Travis and the Seminoles are doing, but they're still firmly in the picture. Georgia, 26 wins in a row. They're at number 2, ahead of the Michigan Wolverines, who still do not deserve to be in the top 5. Yes, I said that because the Texas Longhorns should be 5th. This is my top 5. I've got 1, Florida State, 2, Ohio State, 3, Georgia, 4, Washington, and 5, Texas. Michigan has played absolutely nobody, but they're going to get their shot this week in Happy Valley. Go Penn State. I want them to take them cheating Wolverines out of the college football playoff picture. Now you have the battle of 3 one-loss teams, actually 4 one-loss teams, but Alabama beat Ole Miss 24-10. Texas beat Oklahoma. Oklahoma drops. They now have 2 losses. Oregon lost to Washington 36-33. But this is where I got my problem with you, Boo. This is where I got my problem with you. You've got, your committee has Oregon at number 6 ahead of Texas and Alabama. Their strength of schedule is a joke. They have beat one team with a winning record. That's the Utah Utes. One team out of all the teams they played this year, they beat Utah. Texas has beat 5 teams with a winning record. Alabama has beat 3 teams in the top 19 by double digits. Yes, by 14 points each. They beat LSU 42-28. They beat Tennessee 34-20, and they beat Ole Miss 24-10. So I say for the camera, boo! Boo Carrington and the College Football Playoff Committee. You've got to factor strength of schedule in more than what you're doing. So those are the resumes. I told you what the resumes are. I explained it to you. Alabama in those 3 wins and against Texas A&M, 82-13, 82-13 in the second half of those games. So here's the resume. Okay, this is what you guys are doing with the resumes. There's your resume, Boo Corrington. That's what it is right there. That's your resume. All right, so looking at the rest of this, we're going to get by that. Texas, no beef with Texas ahead of Alabama. That's well deserved. They beat Alabama by 10 points in the game of the year in Tuscaloosa. Nobody else is playing these hard non-conference games, so Alabama's getting penalized because they lost. But that's okay. They still got a pathway if some teams lose, but they're going to need some help. Ole Miss versus Georgia this week. We will pick this on our Golden Games. 7 o'clock kickoff for CBS, the nightcap. That's going to be a great game. And guess what? Tennessee fans are rooting for an arch enemy. The Vol fans are rooting for the Lane Train this week because they need Georgia to lose. And then if Tennessee takes care of business against them next week, Tennessee, if they win the next 2, will go to the SEC championship game. Yes, folks, there's a path for the Vols, but they need help from the Ole Miss Rebels. Penn State got that matchup against Michigan. We talked about that one. Louisville sitting there with 1 loss. They've got a shot, as does Oregon State, but minimal shot. They got to win out and take out Florida State in the ACC championship game. All these other teams are dust. Air Force, by the way, they descended up pretty high. They got trucked by Army. The Army tanked them 23-3 last week, so no longer unbeaten is the Air Force Academy. So I think I've got one more video here because what I wanted to talk about is this team. All right, Dave, show it. This is what, hold up. Go ahead. All right, hold up. This is what Alabama's done in the second half to these teams that they've been playing. They've won 7 straight since that loss. Jalen Milroe is cooking now. And this is what Alabama's doing, Boo. Take this back to your committee and show them this video from Go Ball Sports. 82-13 in the second half of those 4 big games, 3 of them against top 19 teams. Tennessee, LSU, and Ole Miss. Alabama has the toughest schedule of all these teams that we just saw. Give them credit, folks. Give them credit, committee. That's what we're asking for, fairness. SEC schedule this week, got some good ones. Kentucky against Alabama. That game in Lexington, 11 o'clock kickoff. I'll have my coffee, get up, and watch that game right there. Should be a good one. Alabama heavy favorites. South Carolina at Vanderbilt. Can Vanderbilt win that game? Possibly. Home team. Okay, so South Carolina's at home. No chance, Vanderbilt. Sorry, thanks for pointing that out. Yeah, the home team's right here, the visitors over here. This, to me, is going to be a fantastic football game. So, Missouri is ranked 12th in the college football poll, right? In Tennessee, 13th, or is it reversed?
What we just saw.
Okay, yeah, 12th versus 13. Missouri at home. This is going to be a great football game. Scott, I did not pick this for my golden game. It's CBS 2:30. Give me your thoughts initially on this game right here.
Scares me to death. 2 years ago, Missouri beat us 60-something to 20-something. Last year, we beat Missouri 60-something to 20-something. So I expect 60-something to 20-something. They're dangerous, but I like the Vols. Vols are rolling.
Yeah, I think I like the Vols to win this game by field goal. I think it's going to be a tight game, no blowout here. So much at stake for these two teams right here. And either one of these teams, should Ole Miss beat Georgia, should Ole Miss beat Georgia, we'll pick that in our golden game segment, has a path to the SEC championship game. Tennessee, really the more clear path because they can beat Georgia and Missouri loses the tiebreaker to them. Arkansas at Auburn, two SEC West teams. Arkansas's at home. I think Auburn's the better team right now, the better defense than Arkansas. We'll pick this on our golden game segment right here. Lane Kiffin puts out a tweet on X to the Vol fans. Hey, you guys need us to win this game, don't you? So he's embracing the love that Vol fans are putting on Ole Miss this week. LSU hosts Florida. They'll get back on the winning track at home. Jaden Daniels will be back after he is concussed by Dallas Turner in a clean hit in the game that knocked Jaden Daniels out, ladies and gentlemen. Look, I'm not going to get on an NFL rant, but that's a good college hit.
We have the video of that?
No.
Oh, don't have. Just
I figured you was going to bring it for your participation trophy or podium tonight.
I'm a nice guy.
Save it for next time.
I don't pick on Alabama.
Texas A&M, Mississippi State. These might be two of the worst teams in the conference.
Because
right now.
look, Alabama's getting like 30 minutes of tonight's show, so I didn't want to add to that.
After that LSU win, they deserved to get the time.
Okay.
It was the signature win of the weekend in college football.
Okay.
Clearly.
Okay.
Clearly. All right, that's going to end our college football segment. We'll be back next time, and we'll break and see what the college football playoff poll gives us next Wednesday.
Man, that was a ride. Let's go to the podium.
All right, it's podium time, so it's bronze time. My bronze medalist tonight is the Tullahoma Wildcats. And yeah, I've got another receipt to give out, folks. Tullahoma now 8-3. There were teams that picked them to be 4-6 in the regular season. Yeah, Mr. Duckworth. I think you were one of them. So yeah, I've got Duckworth here. I've got your receipts here on Gold Ball Sports. Congratulations, Tullahoma Wildcats, on a playoff win, an 8-3 season. You give Scott, Dave, and I many great memories this year, and we're hoping for a couple more.
All right, my bronze medal also goes to the Tullahoma Wildcats, but to a Wildcat, Grant Chadwick. You know, Grant gets overlooked sometimes at Tullahoma by the defense and whatnot, but he's certainly not getting overlooked by the state of Tennessee. Grant was nominated for a Tennessee Titan and Mr. Football Award for kicker. They used to have one in each classification. Now they just have one kicker award. So he's going up against every other kicker in the state. Only 5 were nominated. Grant Chadwick, one of them. Congratulations, Grant. Hope you win it. You earned the bronze medal.
All right, silver medalist for me tonight is C.J. Stroud, a quarterback of the Houston Texans. Folks, he went ballistic, broke a rookie passing record, 470 passing yards, 5 touchdowns last Sunday in the Texans' victory. Folks, that's some mega big numbers. And look, you could put up them kind of numbers, you're going to get recognized on Gold Ball Sports. Congrats, C.J. Stroud and the Houston Texans.
All right, if Alabama's going to get half the show, Tullahoma gets at least 5 minutes. So my silver medal goes to the Tullahoma Wildcat defense. Man, I'm talking Colby Tucker. I'm talking Robert Tatum, DeCarlo Slaughter, Jalen Hill, Ezra Myers, Grant Chat, Ethan Hargrove. Don't talk to me while I'm talking. Ethan Hargrove, Bronson Bunch. The defense was just phenomenal Friday night. Just shut Nolensville down. They had an 8-minute drive to open the game. They missed a field goal, hit the right upright, missed that field goal, and Tullahoma just shut them out. Congratulations, Wildcat defense, silver medal winner.
Well, we're not done talking Alabama. The marquee matchup of the night was Saturday night at Bryant-Denny Stadium. A raucous, unbelievable atmosphere, a quarterback duel between Jaden Daniels and Jalen Milroe. Jaden Daniels came in with all the hype. Heisman contender, blah, 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 blah. That's all we heard about was Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels, minimal about Jalen Milroe. Milroe outdueled him, 219 passing yards, 155 yards rushing, and yes, he broke an Alabama record for quarterbacks with 4 rushing touchdowns. Jalen Milroe, gold medal winner, my podium, gold.
That's a good choice, Ken. Alabama deserves some mention on this program. My gold medal goes to my guy. Put me back on the home screen, brother. Just want to make sure everybody understands that this is my guy right here, Joshua Dobbs, Astro Dobbs. What did Astro Dobbs do? Let's watch a video or two of Astro Dobbs.
Let's make sure we let him hear it. All right? Let's watch this one first.
Okay.
What's up, Skull Nation? I want to introduce myself. I'm Josh Dobbs. Great dub today on Sunday here in Atlanta. Cheers to the next one. I'll see you guys back in Minnesota. Let's get it.
Let's make sure we let him hear it. All right? But joining this guy right here is every single guy in this locker room. Player and coach that put it out there, put it on the line today. All right, but what we learned today is regardless of circumstance, the Minnesota Vikings push onward. In addition to everybody getting one in here, he deserves to keep the actual one he played with, Josh Dobbs.
As they say, it's a team win. I couldn't do it without teammates, offense, defense, special team, coaches. Shoot, Grant spending 5 extra hours with me on Friday going through walkthroughs. And I'm thankful to be here. I'm excited, man. We'll enjoy this one. But as they all say, cheers to the next one. Here we go. Family on three. Family on three. 1, 2, 3.
Joshua Dobbs. You know what Skull Nation is, right? He gave a shout out to Skull Nation. You know, Josh has got that disease where he doesn't have any hair on his body. That's Skull Nation. All he did was get traded to the Minnesota Vikings on Tuesday. Now, this is fact. He did not practice. He did not take one snap from center. He did not throw one pass to any receiver. You could see him on the sidelines before the games. He's taking snaps from the center for the first time. The offensive line's around. They're talking about what the cadence is going to be and stuff. In his headset, his head coach says the most remarkable thing he's ever seen. He's just out there translating plays from Arizona verbiage, where Josh was, to Minnesota verbiage. It's different verbiage. And the head coach is translating these plays in his headset during the game. And you saw how the Vikings responded to Joshua Dobbs. They believed in him. They played for him. He led them on a game-winning 2-minute drive. It's just awesome. I could not be happier for Joshua Dobbs, gold medal winner tonight.
A great pick.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
That was awesome. All right, Dave, let's talk a little pro football.
All right. So this week, we're going to talk about the top 12 wide receivers all time. We're going to start with...
Hey, Dave, you got a confidant over there.
Oh, I do, but we'll get to him. Actually, let's get to him talking to wide receivers. Congratulations. Hey, Ken, hit me with that blue horn. Congratulations to Will Levis being named the starting quarterback. Keith Bullock has something to... It was a good pick by Mr. Vrabel. Good job. Man, Will Levis has been playing top-notch right now. Let's hope he keeps it up. So we're going to start with number 12, Marvin Harrison. Harrison pushed the envelope on the new sleek athletic wide receiver in the NFL. He was the first player to have 50-plus receptions in his first 11 years in the NFL. He holds the record for most consecutive seasons, 8 seasons, of 1,000 all-purpose yards and 10-plus touchdown receptions. He finished his career with over 15,000 yards receiving, 130 touchdowns, and played 13 seasons. At number 11, Raymond Berry with the Baltimore Colts. Raymond was drafted as the 203rd overall pick by the Baltimore Colts in 1954. Most believed he was a long shot to make the team. However, in an NFL league dominated by a rushing game, Berry led the league in receiving yards, touchdown receptions in 5 seasons throughout his career. 6-time Pro Bowler, 2-time champion. He finished his 13-year career with 9,275 yards receiving, 68 touchdowns, and 14.7 yards per catch. Number 10, Larold Fitzgerald. At 40 years old, Larry is still in the league. So depending on how poorly Arizona continues to play, his stats could go up. He's an 11-time Pro Bowler, has made the NFL 2010's All-Decade team, 2-time receptions and receiving touchdowns leader. He's had 17,500 yards receiving, 121 touchdowns, and these numbers somewhat are still climbing. Number 9, Mr. Michael Irvin, the Dallas Cowboy. Irvin is the standard for Cowboys receivers, 30th all-time with 750 receptions and 21st all-time in yards with 11,904, 8th most 100-yard receiving games with 47, 5 times Pro Bowler, and from 1991 through 1998, Irvin recorded 1,000 yards per season in all but 1 year, racking up 10,265 yards in that span. If not for our number 1 spot on this list, Irvin would be the choice for the top receiver in the 90s. Number 8, Mr. Chris Carter, a college stud, recording 2,725 yards and 27 touchdowns for Ohio State in his senior season. Carter should have been a stud in the draft. Alas, he was chosen by the Eagles in the 4th round. Trouble found Carter early as he was cut by the Eagles for drug and alcohol abuse. He turned his life around, and this has a positive ending, as a lot of these stories really don't. And the Vikings picked him up in 1990. From there, he became an 8-time Pro Bowler, 3-time receiving touchdowns leader, and ended his career with 130 touchdowns and 13,900 yards. That's a Cinderella story. Number 7, Megatron, Calvin Johnson with the Detroit Lions. He didn't become a primary receiver. He began playing football as one. In his combine, he ran a 4.35 40 at 6'5" and 240 pounds. In only 9 seasons in the league, Megatron was a 6-time Pro Bowler, holds the record for most receiving yards in a season with 1,964 yards, most receiving yards in a single game with 329 yards, and is tied with Lance Allworth with 5 games with at least 200 yards receiving. A legend. Number 6, Terrell Owens. Terrell Owens is the only player in history to score a touchdown against all 32 NFL teams. Wait, he's the only player to score 2 or more against every team. Only player to have an 800-yard season with 5 different teams, 150-yard games with 5 teams, 200-yard games with 3 teams. Scott's so mad he's starting to walk away. And the 3rd player to reach 15,000 yards. He has 156 total touchdowns and 15,934 yards. Third all-time in season receiving touchdowns. Number 5, Don Hutson with the old Green Bay Packers from 1935 to 1945. A 3-time champ, 2-time MVP, 4-time All-Star, 8-time reception leader, 7-time yards leader, 9 times reception touchdown leader, 5-time scoring leader. I could go on. What more do you need? In an era inundated with defenders who were allowed to bump all the way down the field, Don Hutson was a brute. He had 8,000 yards receiving in his career when the league was all about the running game once again. And think about this stat. Hutson also played defense and stacked 30 interceptions in his 10-year career. What a dude. Number 4, Steve Largent with the Seahawks. Whenever a team gives an award named after you to a current roster member who exhibits spirit, dedication, and integrity, you become more than a receiver. You become an icon. When he retired, he held all major NFL receiving records, including most receptions. Let's see, I lost my place. In a career with 819, most yards in a career, 13,090, and most touchdown receptions with 100. He also held the record of 177 consecutive games with a reception. Steve Largent is also the idol of our number 1 spot on this list. And that has to mean something. Number 3, Mommy, you got mossed. This one hits home, y'all. Randy Moss grew up and played football and basketball about 40 minutes from where I grew up in West Virginia. And I will always claim that he was a more talented basketball player than he was on the football field. Alas, this is about wide receivers. So, Rookie of the Year, 6-time Pro Bowler, 5 times touchdown leader, and holds the record for touchdowns in a season with 23 and touchdown by a rookie with 17. 982 total receptions. 15,292 total reception yards, 156 touchdowns. Oh yeah, and at 6'4", he also ran a 4.38 40 and had a 33-inch vertical leap. Unreal talent. Randy Moss, you deserve it. Number 2, Mr. Lance Allworth. He hit Bambi. So he won both an AFL title and an NFL title. 7-time AFL All-Star, 3-time reception yard leader, 3 times reception leader, 3-time reception touchdown leader, and 2-time all-time team nominee. After high school, Allworth was offered baseball contracts by the Yankees and the Pirates, but declined to play football. He holds many records, some of which are most receiving yards in 75 games with 7,532. Most touchdowns of over 70 yards with 12. And fastest to 8,000 receiving yards with 83 games. And to beat it all, in a league that was trending towards the brutal game witnessed from the late 70s through the late 80s, he earned the nickname Bambi with how graceful he moved on the field. And a number 1 spot, so well deserved is this. One of my favorite players of all times, Mr. Jerry Rice. Finally, the GOAT, Jerry Lee Rice. When you look at the staggering stats from Jerry Rice's 20-year career, it's hard to think of a more dominant wide receiver or maybe even player in the history of NFL. 3 times champ, 2 times offensive player of the year, 10-time All-Pro, 13-time Pro Bowl, 6 times receptions yard leader, 6-time receptions touchdown leader, and if we're quite ready, his records. Most career receptions with 1,549. Most career receiving yards with 22,695. Most receiving touchdowns, 197. Most total touchdowns, 208. Most all-purpose yards, 23,546. An average 75.6 yards per game over his 2-decade career. And you want to know how his playing career started? Check this out. Rice initially played no sports in high school. He enjoyed playing sandlot football and watching football on television. His mother didn't allow him to join the school's football team in his freshman year as she thought that football was too rough for Rice. A sophomore, the school's assistant principal caught Rice skipping class with a friend. causing him to panic and sprint away. After Rice fled, the principal was so impressed with his speed, he informed the school's football coach, Charles Davis, who offered Rice a place on the team. Initially unhappy about this, Rice's mother relented after realizing that the more I fought it, the more determined he was. So I gave it up. We're glad you did, Mama Rice. Congratulations, Jerry. Let's pick some games, boys.
Right.
All right, I'll go first. I've got the Saints at the Vikings, and that's at noon on Fox. I, for one, like the way the Vikings are playing, and I think Josh Dobbs keeps it rolling, y'all. I've got the Vikings winning barely, 17-14 at home. What do y'all think?
Well, I don't know who the Vol fans are going to root for this week. Alontae Taylor against Josh Dobbs. I know them both. I'm gonna go with the Saints, Scott.
Ken knows them both.
Well, I coached Alontae for 3 years. I think I know him pretty good. I was just there when you got your picture made.
But I don't know him. You don't know him.
Well, met him. Let's just say met. But I know Alontae.
I know
go
all
ahead.
I know all them receivers that they just talked about. Vikings, Josh.
All right. Next game, we got the Browns at the Ravens. So Browns come in. They've been looking somewhat impressive. However, the Ravens they look too tough. I'm picking the Ravens again to barely get past the Browns at home. I think the Browns defense is going to put a stop to some of Lamar Jackson's antics, but they'll just be too tough. I think the Ravens are going to win 13-10 at home. What do you think?
I think the Ravens are a big time sleeper in the AFC right now. In a conference where everybody's looking at the Chiefs, the Dolphins, the Bills, and the Bengals. Watch out for the Ravens. I like the Ravens.
This is one of those where I say the Ravens are not going 15-2. I like the Browns.
All right. Last game on my schedule. The 49ers at the Jaguars, which could be a very, very interesting game. Purdy hasn't been looking like himself. But I believe they're going to beat the Jaguars. I think this luck is going to run out for Sunshine, even though they're playing at home. I think the 49ers come in. I think they win pretty decisively 21-10 because they still have a bunch of talented people on this roster. What do you think?
Look, Scott said it last week. Teams are starting to get film on Brock Purdy, and they're starting to figure him out. They've lost 3 in a row now. Jaguars are tough at home. And I think Trevor Lawrence I think he's better than Brock Purdy. I'm not buying the Purdy hype yet. Give me the Jaguars at home.
Me too. Sunshine.
All right. Ken, you're up.
All right, college football. Miami against Florida State. Folks, this was the rivalry back in the low 80s all the way up to about the mid-90s. This right here, Florida State blew so many games against Miami because they didn't have a field goal kicker. Miami got the best of a lot of those games against Bobby Bowden. But this year, Florida State has the better team. They're in the college football playoff picture, undefeated. They're going to beat the Hurricanes.
No contest. Florida State.
All right. Huge SEC game right here. Major stakes involved. You've got the upstart Ole Miss Rebels at 26 wins in a row, Georgia Bulldogs. Georgia is at home between the hedges. I love the way Jackson Dart is playing right now. Ole Miss scoring a lot of points, but I think Georgia's defense and special teams make the difference. Georgia's going to block a punt, get a pick six. They're going to win on special teams and defense this game.
Yeah, Dogs at home. I wish Ole Miss could pull this upset. It would give the Vols hope, but they're not. Georgia.
And the final college football pick on our Golden Games is Michigan at Penn State. Look, I so much want James Franklin to win a big game. He's done terrible against Michigan and Ohio State. Can't beat either one of them. But this game's in Happy Valley, and just for that reason, because they can't, nobody gives them a chance, give me Penn State in the whiteout over Michigan to expose those cheating fraud Wolverines. Give me Penn State.
Of course, they hadn't lost much since they started cheating. Do you think they're still cheating? Now that they're caught, you think they're still cheating?
Stay tuned for the 2-minute warning. You'll see.
I'll learn whether they're still cheating
Maybe.
or not. Thanks. I'm going to go with you, Ken Keller. Michigan hasn't played anybody. Can't stand Penn State. James Franklin. But I like the Nittany Lions to end the Wolverines' charade that they've been holding in the top 5 all year, Penn State.
All right, Joe, let's get some 2-minute warning.
Yo.
6 young men and 69 others who will not be on the field with you today. But they will be watching. You can bet your ass that they'll be gritting their teeth with every snap of that football. You understand me? How you play today, from this moment on, is how you will be remembered. This is your opportunity to rise from these ashes and grab glory.
Y'all, that's a clip from one of my all-time favorite movies, We Are Marshall. I'm not going to spend much time on the movie itself, outside of the fact that this true story happened in the town I grew up in West Virginia, Huntington. I am, however, going to say this to the Wildcats football team heading into Friday's game. If you start digging your grave now, you'll lose the game. Football is a game where anything can happen. My son came home disheartened last night saying that a bunch of his teammates were already giving up. Believe in yourself. Rise from the ashes of the last season, which were pretty abysmal. And let's go beat Page. I'll leave you with this final quote from Vincent van Gogh. Oh, my ear! If you hear a voice within you say, I'll start that again so you can hear it, Scott. If you hear a voice within you say, you cannot paint, by all means, paint, and that voice will be silenced. You hear a voice inside you say, you can't beat Paige, go beat the crap out of them. Voices will stop talking. Oh, yeah, go Cats. Ken?
Paint, Wildcats, paint. In Exodus chapter 20, verse 15, the Lord God gave one of the commandments, thou shalt not steal. So I'm going to talk about sign stealing just for a little bit. What does the Houston Astros, the New England Patriots, and the Michigan Wolverines have in common? Well, they're all sign stealers, right? But when you cheat and you steal signals in a game of football, you minimize the size of the pigskin to this. Okay? Folks, don't do it. Stephen A. Smith said this, the Michigan Wolverines should not be in the college football playoffs because of their cheating. They should be eliminated. We'll see what happens with that. But I've got 2 ways to solve the sign stealing. The first one is the way Rutgers did it. Disguise your signals, folks. Dave, show the video.
There's that color sequence. There's a heck of a prism right there, isn't it?
Well, they do that obviously, and they switch up every quarter. Who's signaling in to wins it?
You think they battle about which color they can wear during the day?
It's just weird, isn't it, to see like Rutgers with a yellow?
Yes.
Great job, Rutgers. Great job. That's the way you disguise your signals. Folks, I'm going to tell you one thing. If you went and watched Jerry Mathis coach high school baseball, you would never see an opponent steal his signals because he disguised them so well. Never, ever will Jerry Mathis' signals be stolen. So that's one way you can beat this is disguise your signals better, okay? The second way is much simpler. We're a technology-driven society. Put microphones in the helmets of the quarterbacks like the NFL's. You'll have a person on the sideline designated to call the signals in. The quarterback can call it in a huddle, and then you don't have a problem with sign stealing. Defense, just like the NFL gets one defender with the headset, the microphone, and the quarterback. Do the same thing in college. Make it happen, and we don't have to listen to these shenanigans ever again. Yeah.
Not sure why I'm not seeing what I'm doing. Why am I not seeing what I'm doing?
There he is.
I don't know where that video's from, bud. I don't know what we're seeing right here, but it's not what I'm doing. It's just me standing there. I'm not talking. I'm not moving. So my 2 minutes is counting down. That's okay. 90 seconds is good if this is even going through. My 2-minute warning goes to Rick Barnes. Rick Barnes, Preacher Rick, the head coach of the Tennessee Volunteers basketball team. Let me tell you, the Tennessee Volunteers basketball team is getting all the accolades. Somebody on ESPN this morning picked Tennessee to win the national championship. Many of the experts are picking the Vols to finish in the Final Four. They have got fifth-year seniors, Josiah Jordan James. I mean, you can't believe that guy's still at Tennessee. Santiago Vescovi. Can you believe that guy's still at Tennessee? Zakai Ziegler. All fifth-year seniors. Super talented freshmen. They've got this transfer coming in that has led them in scoring both of their first 2 games. The Tennessee Volunteers, you started my clock over. I don't know how much time I got left. It doesn't matter. We're just going to end the show with this.
Let's just put you there.
And Rick Barnes, it's time to move on to the Final Four. It's time for you to take the train to the Final Four. No more excuses. No more Sweet 16. The Final Four, Rick. This is your warning. Get it there. And beat the Big Blue. That's going to do it for Go Ball Sports tonight. Remember, hit that subscribe button. We appreciate it. For Dave Myers and Ken Keller, I'm Scott Chastain. Be good to each other.
Having fun together makes a party.